already dropping.
This edition of WeatherScope is sponsored by your Honda dealer, who invites you to test drive the all-new 200 horsepower 1998 Accord V6, an Accord like no other.
This is WeatherScope.
Well, you are seeing rain again today from a slow-moving system over the east. Today, the heaviest rain will be in the mid-Atlantic region and parts of the northeast. Winds will also be gusty. Good morning and welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Bruce Edwards. Now, yesterday that same system brought locally heavy rain to the southeast. Part of that region are still going to see some showers again this morning, but most of those should be fairly light. Now, light rain will dampen parts of the Atlanta metro area this morning. Yesterday, a pretty steady rain fell in the morning, making rush hour a very wet one. It was chilly in Atlanta as well, as the clouds and the wet weather and the northeast winds kept high temperatures in the upper 40s. A little bit better today, maybe low 50s, but still below normal for this time of year. And definitely not what you might expect in November, but it's because the upper low is hanging about here. It's just swinging around, swirling around, keeping at least clouds and occasional lighter rain showers. Now, the more substantial rain you can see from Virginia to the Carolina coast, even on down into Florida. During the last hour, had some heavy rain reported at Tampa, St. Petersburg area, and some scattered showers and associated with this little wave along the front. But the upper lows back here keeping it damp across the southern Appalachians into parts of Tennessee, Alabama, and northern Georgia. You can see the more substantial rain up into Virginia. And then as you get from Raleigh, Durham, down to Fayetteville, over to Sumter along I-95, generally a wet drive. Occasional breaks in the action, so to speak. But once you get to Hilton Head and Savannah, down to the Alma Waycross area, you have more wet weather to contend with. The upper low is back here, so from Chattanooga to Cleveland to Knoxville over to Jellicoe on I-75, it is generally wet. And there's your light rain showing up over northwest Georgia, parts of I-75 here. Occasional light rain and drizzle. Nothing heavy, but a nuisance nonetheless, especially if you're traveling around Augusta, Georgia, and south. We catch up with some wet weather here. Now into Florida, where we have the front dangling in the upper level low. You can see the scattered showers and storms coming through Tampa Bay right now. Brief heavy downpours here now over Lakeland, Florida. With numbers 68 in Tampa, but the other side of the front, 54 in Jacksonville. Cold in Oklahoma City at 33. Now the low's offshore and it's blowing in stiff winds, so it doesn't even feel as warm as 51 in New York. Feels a lot colder with a stiff easterly wind and lots of moisture pouring in here around the system. And right in here, as you get into the Laurel Highlands, we are talking rain and snow, heavy rain, heavy snow mixture, 34 degrees in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We see the heavy rains from Richmond up to D.C. and Baltimore. Very, very wet here, and that's going to persist much of the day. There's the rain-snow mix here around Johnstown. Pittsburgh, moderate rain, and moderate rain from Akron to Kent, Ravenna, Youngstown, and over to the Cleveland area, some lighter rains. And as you can see, it's all heading off towards the northwest. Vivian?
Well, you'll enjoy another day of above-average temperatures over much of the Rockies and the Plains, but the unseasonably warm weather will be replaced over the next couple of days by a blast of cold air from Canada. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Northwest, a disturbance will continue to keep showers in your area. You could see light rain showers again today in Seattle. Yesterday you had light rain on and off for much of the day into last night. Temperatures, however, yesterday were above average for this time of year, as we had readings in the upper 50s, and the average afternoon high in Seattle was about 52, 53 degrees. So it's a little damp even this morning as we wake up in Seattle. We've had some light rain showers, the Puget Sound here and extending southward across the state border, western Oregon, even eastern Oregon and eastern Washington state near the Yakima River Valley. We have the rain, and this is generally moving off toward the east, and we think it'll be pretty much an all-day event. The on and off lighter showers, maybe some breaks in the clouds later this afternoon for you, Seattle, but this system will continue to spread quite a bit of moisture across the northern Rockies. Now, most of the moisture here will be in the form of rain. You'll have to go above some 5,000 feet to find the snow. Behind this surface cold front is where we have the air that's cold enough for snow, and come tomorrow we are talking about this cold air mixing in with the moisture, and widespread snow will be found over parts of Montana, Wyoming, and even tomorrow evening into Sunday we're talking about snow in the forecast for Denver. Yesterday, though, readings were well above average by some 10, 15, 20 degrees or so. We had record heat. Boise, Idaho, 73 degrees. Lewiston, Montana, 71. Now, readings should typically only be in the low 50s, so yeah, quite above average for this time of year. This surface cold front, though, will bring temperatures back down, and we're talking about more seasonal readings behind the surface front over the northern Rockies the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay, it's wet to the Pacific Northwest, wet along the eastern seaboard, but dry in the nation's midsection. As all of this changes now, we will find perhaps some big differences, certainly over the northeast. Huh, Bruce?
Exactly. It's going to get soggy. It's moving in right now. It'll continue to develop and slip slowly to the north. It's not that it's a very powerful system, but it's going to be a persistent system with easterly fetch, strong winds, moisture continuing to flow in, and at times that rain will be very, very heavy. Before all is said and done through midnight tonight, from about Boston and Hartford and Providence and New York, back through Philly and Jersey,